Not a lot of coaches would want to take this job following Nick Saban. You're walking into a challenge.
Being the one that gets to follow Coach Saban and being the one that gets to come here to Alabama, you know, that challenge every day, you know, I see it and feel it. It's been the hardest decision I've ever had to make, you know, in any way, career or even personal.
You said 5 months in now. Is there anything that surprised you at all when you took this job?
So many people made so much about it. Really, there was no surprises, but it's all lived up to that hype, especially with Coach Saban having been here for 17 years. There's going to be a reason, you know, why most of the things that are routine, traditions, there's going to be a reason, you know, we were behind when we first got here. There's no doubt about it that other schools had deep relationships with a lot of, you know, a lot of the prospects. We've been catching up as you come into a program, focusing on the most important things and those priorities, and it still revolves around the guys. It's always about the staff and their leadership, providing the framework, the parameters, but really getting these guys to take ownership. And when we're a player-led team, man, the sky's the limit when you have the talent. Every place I feel has to be a development program, and that includes here. People think at Alabama you just get this great talent and they're not been developed. You know, Coach Saban, all the staff here have done a great job developing, and we got to continue to do the same.
Year one, how will you and your team define success?
You can't put it on wins.
Before we get to the pod, I want to tell you guys about my favorite way to fire on sports, Prize Picks. Guys, I've tried all the different apps, sports betting, daily fantasy, fantasy sports. Prize Picks is by far the best way to get action on sports. On Prize Picks, you pick players instead of teams, so it's tons of fun, and if you know how players are going to perform, you can make tons of money. Each player has a set stat projection, and you pick more or less based on how you think they're going to perform. For example, Steph Curry, 20 points more or less. If you think he's going to have more, you pick more. If he has less, you pick less. You pair it with some other players, and you can win up to 100x your money. It's fun, it's easy, and you can have massive paydays. The best part is I have a $100 deposit bonus for you guys to try it out right now. Use my code ADAMB or the link in the description. You get a 100% deposit match up to $100. So if you put $100 in, Prize Picks will give you $100. Now you got $200 to play with. I'm telling you guys, I've tried it all. Prize Picks is by far the best. And of course, guys, supporting my sponsors helps me a ton, allows me to travel around the country. So it means a lot to me if you'd support Prize Picks using code ADAMB or the link in the description down the app, and then get that $100 deposit bonus. Let's get to the pod. How we doing, man?
Good. How are
Good
you?
to see you. How things going?
Good to see you. Yeah, I'm doing great. We got our old
I
thing set up here.
love the office here. Yeah.
Good. Just got to have a team meeting. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was really good. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Let's get those on here. Yep. There you go. Yeah, if I said we were filming from our office, this probably wasn't what you would have been
this
expecting.
This is what I was expecting.
So it's getting there. Actually, it's getting pretty close. So we can show you down the road here what's going to look like. Actually, let me clean my pockets out here. Did you come in last night?
Last night we were actually at USC yesterday.
Oh, you went all the way.
We flew last night from LA to here.
Okay.
Flew into Birmingham, drove up, got to the AC Marriott in Tuscaloosa about midnight. Now we're here.
You guys are busy. Did you happen to see my old AD, Jen Cohen, there?
I didn't see her, but I was just telling the SID there. I was like, I want to come back and do Jen Cohen. So I saw Jen at the USC Colorado game. She had just became the USC AD, and she came up to me actually and was like, I loved what you guys did with Washington over last summer. So I was like, well, we'll be back in USC.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. No, it's great having you guys here. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's been
same crew as last time. Yeah, no.
I was at the Sugar Bowl one.
Okay. Yeah. I recognize. I recognize faces a little bit. So
I was making jokes that. I feel like, I don't know if it's because we keep doing interviews, but like, Sugar Bowl, you won the Sugar Bowl. I was there in August before the season. You end up, we need to keep doing more.
We needed you at the championship game.
Interview Penix and then, have us out before the championship.
So, yeah, let's keep that streak alive. Whatever I need to do to get you somewhere, we got to make that happen, it looks like.
No, I appreciate it. it. Are we good, guys? Cool. Coach, I appreciate you doing this. This is our, number 3, our third sit down. I got to be honest, when we were 10 months ago, when I was at Washington, a lot has happened since then, right? And I did not think we'd be sitting right here for this year's preseason interview.
Yeah,
I'm sure you didn't see it coming either.
No, I did not. A lot has happened, and obviously a lot of great things there at Washington, and appreciate everything you did following us there and supporting that. But here we are, at Alabama. So it's been a 5 months, I guess. It's gone extremely fast. So going on 6, but it's been an awesome experience here through this time.
Does it feel like it's been 5 months? Does it feel like it's been longer? I mean, it feels like it was just yesterday. I heard the news.
Yeah, I think it's gone extremely fast. But when I really think about everything that we've done and all the little pieces that have come together and the work that we've put forth, whether it's our staff or just building a staff, keeping the team together, spring ball. It has been 5 months. So, but it's been all good.
Yeah. You just came from a team meeting. So I wanted to ask, what was your first team meeting here at Alabama? What would describe your emotions, your thoughts walking into that first team meeting as the head coach at Alabama?
Yeah, that was a Friday night, and literally got offered the job that morning, mid-morning, and I guess it would have been early afternoon on this part of the country, but got down here and got a chance to get in front of the guys and just, try to connect with them a little bit at that point. And, it was about 9 o'clock that night. So I think some were excited, some were trying to figure it out. A lot had happened in the previous 48 to 72 hours for them. And everything after that, even the next 3 to 4 days was pretty crazy for them, especially just because, we're trying to build a staff and, that doesn't happen overnight, but we were pretty efficient, I think. And the guys have just been so receptive, so patient, embraced everything we've done since then. But that first meeting, I just tried to connect with them a little bit and just tell them that I understood, and you don't understand fully until I think you're here, but I understood what this place stood for, what their goals were each and every year, but also just how they want to do things and do things first class and do things at a high standard.
Yeah. During that whirlwind of your first 48 hours on the job, did you have a moment to sit back and reflect and say, the guy, former head coach at Sioux Falls, is now the Alabama head coach. Did you have a moment to kind of take it all in, or you were just moving?
No, not at all. It was on the go, from press conferences to just a lot of meetings and one-on-one meetings, position group meetings when you brought in a position coach, and just a lot of team meetings just continue. I mean, even sometimes a couple a day, just to inform them of any updates I had. Because I think every minute at that time of the year was really important with what these guys were going through. It was just starting a semester, and there was drop times that they could do academically if they decided to leave and enter the portal, and so every minute was critical. And we really tried. I think we did a great job of making every minute count.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you and kind of dive into the actual decision you made to come here. I know how much Washington meant to you, and unbelievable success there. I know that how much the team meant to you. And for you to leave, it had to be a really special opportunity, right? Can you take me through kind of the timeline of that decision and how you ultimately decided that this was the place to come to?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Saban, retires, and I believe that would have been on a Wednesday, and announcements made, and late that night I get notice that, Greg Byrne would like to talk, and so the next day we got together, in morning, early afternoon, and really kind of had to decide then, for the most part, just, making sure me and my family were good with that piece of it, as far as if I got offered the opportunity. And the next morning, mid-morning, late morning, got offered the job, and really, had to make a decision there quickly, because I knew, and I know Greg knew, that it had to move rather quickly with just everything that was going on again here. And, Washington was amazing. The people are there. They are amazing. Will always be that way. My family just embraced in every way. We loved it there, and we'll cherish our times. I mean, it was two of the best years of my life coaching, and I think because of the age of my kids and just where we were at and them understanding what we were going through, we just had a great time as a family. The staff, amazing staff, and of course the players are the ones that all revolves around and what they did, and so. That was by far the hardest part. It's been the hardest decision I've ever had to make, in any way, career or even personal. It really is both. And so, not easy at all, but this is the one place, that, really, I think, looking back on it, at the time, really felt like, I'd ever leave Washington with where we were at and how it was going there. And, I don't get to choose the timing of it, and so, being the one that gets to follow Coach Saban and being the one that gets to come here to Alabama and be the next head coach was something, that really was appealing to me. And, that challenge every day, I see it and feel it. And, it's fun bringing it together and trying to add to what's been established here in this program.
Who are the people in your kind of circle that you lean on when making decisions like this one?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of time, but I did have a few Friends, just those in the professional world. I don't really want to get into too much of that, but there's some phone calls and some conversations I had, just, making sure that as quickly as things were moving, that I kind of was thinking through and had good perspective. And there are people I trust that have been through this, and I've been in the profession or in college athletics for a long time. Yeah.
One of the unique things I think about your background is you've replaced really good head coaches before. A lot of times when people take head coaching jobs, right, you're walking into bad programs. You've walked into pretty good programs, even at Washington and what was built before there. How has that kind of prepared you for this job now?
Yeah, there's some great Washington coaches, and the one that had the most success recently there with Chris Peterson, just becoming a great friend, mentor in many ways, and just kind of understanding and building on what and a lot of those players that were on our team were still guys that he had brought into the program. Jeff Tedford, at Fresno State, following him. And I mean, he's an amazing coach as well. And so I understand every place is different. And, Coach Saban being the best of the best, that's a whole different deal, especially here at Alabama. So, but I think there's just, it kind of it verifies to you, confirms with you, with those other places I've been, just that you got to go about it your way. You embrace and enjoy everything that comes along with the place you're at, the tradition, just the culture, the excitement of the fan base, and then the challenge of just building and adding to it. And, that's been a joy of mine at the previous stops, and looking forward to doing that here and building on that at Alabama.
Real quick, guys, before we get back to the pod, I have an amazing way that you can support your favorite college's NIL efforts. I'm working with a freight, trucking, and logistics company, and if you own a business or know someone that owns a business that moves product or ships things across the country or just ships things anywhere within your state, and you switch your trucking services to the company that we're working with, they will give a percentage of all money that your company spends on logistics and trucking to your favorite school school's NIL efforts, all while keeping your trucking, logistics, and freight prices the same. So it's a super easy way for your company to support NIL efforts at your favorite school. You can support your school, get more money for the players so your school can compete without spending any more money yourself. Simple solution. So if you're a business owner, you know a business owner who'd be interested in this, or you're a school or a collective that knows businesses that you want to reach out to about this, send me an email to my personal email address and I'll get on the line with you. That's adam@brenemanmedia.com. It's on the screen right there and in the description, adam@brenemanmedia.com. Send me an email and we'll set up a time to talk. One of the most important things, probably the most important other than the players, is building your staff when you're here, especially now that you're in the SEC and everyone talks about the recruiting down here, right? And how it's just different than everywhere else in the country. How'd you go about building your staff, and what were the things you were looking for when deciding who to bring from Washington, where to go, even your personnel and recruiting staff?
Yeah, I think the way it came together in the end, I am just crazy excited about who we have and how there's so many, there's some people that I have, just familiar past with and worked with at different stops. But there's this SEC, Southeast, part of the country kind of feel to our staff as well. If you remember, I brought originally 4 coaches down from Washington, and then Ryan Grubb, Scott Huff got an opportunity to be with the Seattle Seahawks, and just so happy for those guys because they're great friends, and they helped me, and our teams, the last 2 years, and Grubb, I've known for 17 or more, I've lost count, but. Nick Sheridan, Jamarcus Shepard, really the 2 on-field coaches that are here from Washington and really understand from an offensive side, what we want to do. It's our system that we've built over many years, and they understand it inside and out, and you can see them continuing to carry that out each and every day. They're great recruiters. They've done a great job keeping their room together. And then you add in the other pieces, and really focusing probably on the key pieces on the field would be Kay Womack, who I worked with at Indiana, and I was so impressed with him when we were there and what he did and what we were building that year in 2019, and then him having the opportunity to go be a head coach and do it himself, and down in Mobile at South Alabama. He is just so familiar because of his past and his dad having been a coordinator at various stops along the way for really about 30 years. He knows this part of the country. And so not to get into each and every guy, but keeping a couple of coaches and Robert Gillespie and Freddie Roach here, one on each side of the ball, it was just so evident to me what these guys stood for, what their rooms look like, how great of recruiters they were, and most importantly, how great of people they are. And their players loved them, and I could see that meeting with these guys, in those early hours and early days. But Courtney Morgan coming down as our general manager, he just, he's got his hands in everything, and I let him do that because he's got great vision. He takes pride in what he does. He does it the right way. He's a relationship guy, and we've just built a strong relationship over the last 3-4 years at different places now. This really being the 3rd one together between Fresno, Washington, and now Alabama. So again, the staff as a whole, a lot of Southeast ties. They've done a great job building relationships, a great job, getting after it because we were behind when we first got here. There's no doubt about it that other schools had deep relationships with a lot of a lot of the prospects, especially in the 2025 class. So we've been catching up. But I'm really excited about, getting guys here and them seeing us for who we are.
Yeah, I did you mentioned Courtney Morgan. I did a video about him a few months ago about I think it was when you were still at Washington, the most impactful person in the program that you probably haven't heard of yet.
Yeah.
And he is getting more and more pub out there in the media world, but you mentioned a little bit, but can you elaborate a little bit on how, especially in today's college football, how important having someone in that general manager role is? And really, you said it, Courtney has his hands in every part of this program, right? All the hires you're making, personnel. What's he mean to you in this place specifically? Yeah,
I think there's just a vision that he just helps me continue to stay aligned with. And, yes, you got to have your spreadsheets and the list of players and prospects and just enjoy that. But you got to be a great evaluator. You got to be a great organizer of your staff. There's a creative side as you recruit. How do you touch the guys that are in their teens right now, 16, 17, 18 years old, and what's that appeals to them. And so he's really in tune to the way things continue to evolve, he's got a lot of experience, in this area, but he's just more than anything, he's just about people.
Yeah. And
he just cherishes relationships, and there becomes a relationship that's so strong that we can really have just really good conversations, and as you're trying to really close on prospects together, and with Courtney, being a big, strong voice in that, his guidance, but also his just relationships he has with our staff, but with these prospects and their families, it's really critical.
Yeah. You said 5 months in now. Is there anything that surprised you at all when you took this job, good or anything maybe you didn't expect?
I think so many people made so much about it. It was a lot that was said as far as what to expect, that really there was no surprises, but it's all lived up to that hype. Yeah. And I just am so man, it's just awesome seeing the fan base, and their love for this place, and the alumni, and what they created, and all their blood, sweat, and tears they've poured into it, and hearing their stories one by one. And I've got so many I haven't even met yet, but working through that, and just the support that we have, whether it's the strength and conditioning with Dave Ballou, and then what the resources are in the weight room, and just how really no one in the country has what we have there, along with Jeff Allen, who's been here for going on 18 seasons now, and the training staff there, our medical staff. These resources just go on and on for our guys. And, when you really get into it and you're working day to day with those two areas, but many others, the player development piece, there's just a personal touch, but there's an expertise level. And then, of course, the fun part with the fans and the excitement surrounds a program. An A-Day would be an example of that, and having 72,000+ people there. It just blows you away, and it's fun to be a part of.
Yeah. How do you, when you take this job, balance the two where, and we talked a little bit about replacing a really good coach, you've done it before, but the need to balance that you have your way of doing it, which has been extremely successful, right? Also with a ton of respect for the fact that for a long time, this place has won a lot of games and done it one way, and it's worked. How have you kind of balanced that with your approach when you got here? And have you kind of like taken a couple things from the way it's done and then, we're going to change this a little bit? How have you approached that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, especially with Coach Saban having been here for 17 years, there's going to be a reason, why most of the things that are routine, traditions, there's going to be a reason, why is the schedule this way? Why is, I'm talking about the daily schedule or whatever it might be, how academics is set up and what it looks like there, the people that are in place. There's a reason for those things. And so you really got to pay attention. And so, there are things, how we operate and what that practice plan, most practice plans are within reason, very similar, but, the guys have adjusted great to that. And the routines from the strength and conditioning, like I said, and training room, those people are really the same people for the most part. And so that really didn't change much for our guys. And that's helped with this transition. Morning practices, we're going to go to morning practices. So that's a little different. That's something that I've done. That might be something, that will be different for the guys, but everything that we've done this summer, they've embraced it. They've enjoyed it. They feel like when they hit, 12 o'clock, noon, they've got a lot of work done and can go on to the academic piece of their day and even the social piece of their day. And so, there's traditions, how we look and what we do on the field, in the workouts, that are really important to these guys. They're traditions that have been passed on from team to team, even decades. And I really have to make sure, and because I know how important it was for me as an alum and my alma mater and some of those traditions, I really want to make sure I'm always got my antennas up to those things that are said over and over again, or what our guys, in a leadership group here that we have really say are important for them to continue on and what's been done in the past.
Yeah. I'm a big morning practice guy, so I used to love that. You get on with the rest of your day, right? I'm sure the guys will love it.
Yeah.
The word culture is used a lot, right, in football. I think it's probably overused. So I'm gonna use the word core values. What are your core values that maybe in your first team meeting that when you talk to the guys, what you want to implement. Real quick, guys, education has been a huge part of my life and my career. My undergrad degree at Penn State, my master's degree at UMass. That's why I'm so excited that Southern New Hampshire University has now sponsored the podcast. SNHU has so many different degree options. They have flexibility in how you get your degree. It's affordable. You can do it online. There's so many different options. It's a perfect way for anyone who's busy or anyone who wants to advance their career to get a leg up. I especially love their bachelor's degree in sports management. Anyone who wants to be in sports should look at this option because it's so affordable. And a degree from SNHU in sports management will give you respect in the sports industry. You guys can get more information by just putting in your email address and your name, maybe some special offers at the link in the description, or going to snhu.edu/Adam Breneman. The URL is on the screen as well if you're watching. That's link in the description, or snhu.edu/Adam Breneman. Put your email in, get some more information. And guys, supporting our sponsors helps me a ton. So would appreciate you guys clicking on that link and putting in your info just to get some more information. No strings attached. Go check it out today.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different things that are important, right? But we want to be first class in everything we do. We want to be men of integrity. We want to have academic. We want to be academic excellence in the classroom is really key. What we call our non-negotiables kind of falls in line with the values that we have, and that's we want to be family-centered. We want to have a brotherhood, which is just really been great even coming in, but they continue to grow it and really come together in a special way. There needs to be an accountability, I think, every great team has, and that, again, is something that, you figure out what's important to you, how you do things, and these guys have really stuck to their guns on that. And I just walked out of the team meeting and praised them a little bit, patted them on the back for a second on some of the accountability things I'm hearing from just the workouts, that they're doing, and if someone's not quite up to the standard, that they're holding each other accountable, and that says a lot about the relationship too, because they're not getting defensive and going back and forth that way. And then I think there's all this comes together and there becomes a toughness. It's physical toughness, it's mental toughness. So those are some of the things that we call our non-negotiables in our program. And there's other values we add to it, but doing things the right way. We say winners win because that's what winners do, and winning's really important in our program, but really it's a result of doing the things that winners do or champions do each and every day.
Yeah. I want to flash back to 2020, taking the Fresno State job, right? I think it was 2020. That was your first year. In what way now in 2024 do you feel like you've evolved the most as a head coach?
Yeah, that year was a tough one, right? Just because it was COVID. But I think, I think there's just continues to be more verification over and over again of how you do things. But also that year, there was just so much adjustments, and you really, you had to become efficient in some things because the season, the time together was shortened drastically. You found out some of the things that you've done and you thought were really important for 20 years, as a coach, maybe weren't the priority. But I think then you also saw the things that really brought a team together, and continued to emphasize those things that I've felt when I was a player, took us from being a 2-8 team my freshman year to being a 14-0 team. And I saw firsthand what the culture looked like at the beginning and what it looked like at the end as a player. And those are the things I've taken at different places. We've grown programs, sometimes as a coordinator, but also as a head coach. And so, that brotherhood, all those values that I just talked about, they're so critical. And so I think it's just re-emphasizing and really, as you come into a program, focusing on the most important things and those priorities. And it still revolves around the guys. It's always about the staff and their leadership, providing the framework, the parameters, but really getting these guys to take ownership and to take the leadership role. And when we're a player-led team, man, the sky's the limit when you have the talent there in the program. And, I saw that the last couple of years at Washington, saw that happening at Fresno, especially in the second year there, and at Fresno State. And then, of course, here, I can see that already developing and being a part of what these guys believe in. Yeah.
During that last season at Washington last year, again, historic run, and as good as Washington has been, and also with a Heisman candidate quarterback, is there maybe a lesson or something that you reflect on during that year of, that's now helping you in year one at Alabama?
I think the year before is probably one of the things that just jumps out of my mind. And we jumped out to an early 4-0 record, and then back-to-back losses on the road. And, there's just the staff and how important the staff and them being unified was at that time helped us really set the tone, and our players, saw that, and it trickled down to them, and they stuck together even with some adversity that we were facing, whether it be injuries or just those losses. And then really rattling off wins the rest of the season, including the bowl, and all season long, 14 more last year until the championship. And so that's what sticks out in my mind, because yes, it was about some big wins and some close games and some decisions you make and guys executing in critical times. But and that always goes back to practice and preparation and belief and confidence. But I think that time right there just showed having your staff aligned, having your staff tight, the relationship's important. Not having guys with egos, whether it's coaches or players. It was critical to get over that hump from going 4-0 to 4-2, and then rattling off, wins from there on out. Yeah,
I'm guessing that one of the pros of taking this job was who you have at quarterback in Jalen Milroe, and having a talent like that, and you've had a lot of great ones in your career. Coming off that couple of years with you were with Penix at Indiana too. Are there any similarities or comparisons between Jalen and Penix, and how have you that experience with Penix for those few years and develop the ups and downs of his career? I talked about it a lot. How are you kind of using that to now coach Jalen?
Yeah, I think every guy's their own guy, right? Yeah. And what I do know is that both of them are extremely great people, and they want to achieve success at the highest level. Individually, but then when you really get to know them, man, they want what's best for their teammates and this football team, whether it's Jalen here, Michael there. It truly isn't just something they're saying publicly. They're living it and pouring into that each and every day. Yeah. They're the ones that are holding themselves accountable, and then passing that on to the rest of their team. And so super talented, obviously, in their own way. It's been just cool seeing Jalen bit by bit. He's watching still clips from last year as we install things offensively in particular. Just really embrace that and be excited about it, and take on, just like Michael did, everything we throw at them, because they want to grow and be their best. But there's the talent piece, but I think most importantly, who they are as people, what their values are, and just that, they want what's best for this program, what's best for this team, and they're great leaders that way.
It had to be cool to see Mike go top 10.
It was amazing. There isn't a thing he hasn't been through that won't just, I'm sure come at some time, or another, in the years ahead that he can't look back on over the last 6 years. But he's deserved every bit of the success he's had, and man, I'm just fired up for what's yet to come.
Yeah, we just touched on Mike's adversity, and I wanted to ask you. I talk a lot about adversity in people's careers, and I've been through it in my career and playing. And anyone who's reached the level you have, there's some adversity at some point in your life that you got to find a way to get through, right? Is there a moment you can think of in your career where you had some adversity, and ultimately, how'd you overcome it?
Yeah, I think there's different times. I think as an early and young coordinator, we were, you just call any play and then just, you rolled with it, and just you had organization, but a lot of confidence, and there was 2 years in particular as an assistant at Sioux Falls where, we came up short, and we had great teams, and we came up short, and those were hard, and we had chances to win the game, and we didn't, in 2002 and 2003 in particular. And I remember those things. You learn from them. There's more along the way. I remember, probably one of the big things was 2007, a 99-yard drive in the final minutes of the game in extreme cold conditions, windy conditions, going into the wind to win a game to go to the national championship. And just a never say die mentality, and always work just focused on what you can control, and that's what lies ahead, and leaving it on the field. And if you leave it on the field, you just trust that the results will be in your favor, and if not, you learn from it and continue to move forward and press on. But I think about times where I've seen 1-11 teams, before we got to Eastern Michigan, a 1-11 team before we got to Fresno State, and how you can turn it around with your culture. The adversity was there, and that was not easy. And so within those days that you're trying to press upon, I mean, there's just a lot that there's times where it's just like, man, this is going to be tough, but you do it. You continue to work through it, and turning those programs around to something that I'll cherish and remember forever.
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to love this question because I know you don't only talk about yourself, but I want to ask about your just mental makeup and how with all the success you've had at these different stops. And then also, a lot of people talking about not a lot of coaches would want to take this job following Nick Saban. I don't know if I buy that completely, like this is the Alabama job, right? But I do think there's some merit in it that you're walking into a challenge, that this place has been really good for a long time. What do you think it is about how you approach coaching that's allowed you to have the success you have, or maybe the competitive advantage that you've had in your career to get to this point?
Oh, I think that, I'm comfortable with what has happened over years coaching and the relationships I have and what we've accomplished. And, you take those things, those lessons we've talked about, and you want to apply them. And when you really simplify it down, you just make it about these guys that are in this program. You make it about everyone who touches it. You want everyone to just have a great experience, and that's our fans, and that's, everyone and all the different programs here at Alabama, not just football. And when you really simplify it down, you just try to help everyone have this great experience, starting with our players and our staff. That's what it's about. That's what this is all about. That's what being a coach is all about. And you pour everything into that you can. And again, you live with the results, but more than likely, the results are going to be in your favor. Yeah. And, the challenge certainly that you're talking about, it's understood, and it's not easy. But, all you can ask is bring that best energy, attitude, and effort every single day, whether it's yourself, your staff, your team, show them the way, and use every day we got as a way to make an impact. Yeah. And that's what we're doing. I just feel like that's happening right now. Our players, we're just talking about the impact they're making in the community. And they got some value that is even beyond them as a football player. And them as a football player is a lot of their identity right now. Yeah. It's a lot of who they are. It's been who they are in high school. It's been who they are in their college days. But and winning, again, not shying away of how important that is. But it's really cool seeing the growth that these guys are having each and every day here.
When we were at Washington last year, I got to spend some time around your players and the team, and we will today here at Alabama as well. And the one thing I noticed is like everyone was happy, enjoyed being there. Like, I've been in some football programs where the players are like walking on eggshells everywhere. And I got to be around Mike and some of your players. Obviously, you've built that kind of culture of like, we want guys to be happy in this program. If I were to ask guys, what's it like being on Coach DeBoer's team? What's it like playing for Kalen DeBoer? What would you want them to say? What do you think they'd say?
Yeah, I just hope that walking in the facility every single day is something they enjoy doing. And so when you walk in the facility, you got that mindset when you feel good about the people that are there, and that they're all there to help you be your best. They're all pulling the same direction. We all want the same things, and we're all fighting the same fight. And so I think in the end, it's pretty simple. The touch points, the contact points I have with these guys and our staff have with them, coaching them hard, holding them accountable. Okay, that is critical. But also just smiling and having some fun with them. Yeah. And realizing that and helping them realize that this is a great time of your life. And I think it always, the time they're putting in, they're spending more time here because they enjoy being here, which in the end leads to them maybe doing some extra things in the training room that help them stay healthy, extra things in the weight room that just help them continue to develop, extra film time on their own because they don't want to leave the place. And when you just can't wait to get out, you're missing out on all those things. And so building a culture of extra work happens by making it a place that people enjoy being in.
Last few things I got for you, Coach. Appreciate your time. Year one, how will you and your team define success? When you talk to these guys, what are you saying? These are our goals, or this is a successful season? Yeah,
especially the first year at Fresno State, Washington, here. I've been asked that questioned a lot, especially the last probably couple months. And you know, you can't put it on wins, because one thing I want to make sure we also do is everyone, you know, 10's not enough, 11's not enough, 12's not conference championship, you know, whatever. But I also don't want to undersell. And I just simply go back to Washington, which was coming off a 4-8 season. If I'd have said 9 wins was a success, I would have been selling that team short. And so to me, it's about what's that mindset look like every single day when they walk in the facility? And is it just attacking? Is it just relentless? And what's it look like when we're on the football field playing? Is every single guy in the team pursuing the ball carrier defensively? Is there excitement when big plays are made? And the one guy that scores, yes, he's getting a lot of attention, but he's going to his teammates, everyone else is running to him, and they're happy for the efforts that it all took to get that player in the end zone. And so to me, it's something that you feel. We talk about creating an attitude, not installing an attitude. We have cool blitzes and schemes and plays, but we gotta create an attitude just, you know, by what we do and how we do it. And so I'm not going to put wins on it. To me, it's something you just feel, and you can do it every day. I hope our fans feel it, you know, externally right now, but really can see it when we get on the football field each and every Saturday this fall.
Yeah. When you're building your roster right now at Alabama, again, unique time in college football with the portal, NIL. What's been your approach, and how do you think about building through the portal versus building through high school, and the balancing the two of, you know, like we just talked about, you got to win right away, right? But you also got to make sure you're bringing in high school players. How do you kind of approach that, and when it comes to personnel? Real quick, before we get back to the podcast, I got to tell you guys about our new sponsor, Ekrin Athletics, man. Ekrin is one of my favorite products I've ever tried, one of my favorite sponsors of this podcast. Their new percussion massager is elite. The Kestrel percussion massager just launched, and it is their best massage gun yet. And I've tried a lot of these guns. There are several upgrades over their previous guns, which were already considered among the best available. This massager is extremely powerful, and it gives a deep tissue massage. Its angled handle design makes it easier to get to more areas, and the scrolling wheel makes it easy to adjust while you're using it. It has 6 speeds and 6 attachments, so you can really tailor it to your needs and to your muscle group you're targeting. I wish I had this when I was playing. I probably would have avoided some injuries, been more ready to play on game day, and recovered faster. Best part, I have a promo code for all of you to try Ekrin and their new massage gun. Use promo code NEXTUP for 25% off all orders on Ekrin Athletics. That's promo code NEXTUP for 25% off all orders. And guys, supporting our sponsors helps me a ton. So go support Ekrin Athletics. Use that promo code NEXTUP for 25% off your orders.
I think the core of what you build in your program has got to come from high school recruiting, and especially here right now. You know, guys coming in, you know, coming and every place I feel has to be a development program, and that includes here. I think that's a thing that people think at Alabama, you just get this great talent and they're not been developed. You know, Coach Saban, all the staff here have done a great job developing, and we got to continue to do the same. But I think the portal and your philosophy is a year-to-year thing, and it will continue to change, and it depends on where your team's at. For us, there were some areas where we lost some guys before I even got here or right when I was here, and we had to get some guys that can have some experience that can come in and help us right now, fill some voids and some areas. We have some great young players, and they're going to get their opportunities as well. But if I look back to, you know, 2 years ago, it's a very similar situation. In Washington, there was a good core of players, brought a couple guys, but didn't go really over the top, you know, maybe 8-9 guys. And really you fill in those areas that can really, you know, these guys that can be difference makers, and they got to be the right people. You know, when it comes to the portal guys, it's got to be the right people that want to be as part of something special and that will really fit in to what your culture is. And you know, but it still starts with the high school recruiting. There is no question about it. And, you know, we have plenty of spots here, you know, to where we can fill in those spots, and the recruiting's gone really well. I'm proud of our staff.
We have a decent amount of viewers on this show that are young coaches that want to, make it to this level, right? Coach at Alabama. So I want to ask you, if you could go back and give yourself advice maybe 15, 20 years ago, maybe you were taking the Sioux Falls job, or maybe it was when you were an assistant coach, what's some advice that you would tell yourself that you know now?
Yeah, I mean, my path was different just because of, I mean, it took a long time to get to really even a Division I opportunity, an FCS opportunity after 12 years really, 2 in high school and 10 at the NAIA level. Be patient. Understand that every day is an opportunity to get better. So, you know, and right now there's so much film that's available to you. There's so many resources to learn from. You can listen, watch, you know, and hopefully build your network in some form or fashion as well. But, you know, be where you're at and learn and use that day to get better yourself. And when you stack day on day, just like we tell our guys, it's amazing how far you can come and develop kind of who you are and what your coaching style is. And, you know, I was where my feet were at. I was present. I was never Sioux Falls really looking for anything. Just the right things will happen if you go about it where you're at the right way. The right things will happen. None of any of the positions that I held and took over were ones that I really went after. They all came to you, and you know, some of them I didn't even know about. You know, I wasn't even aware that, you know, Southern Illinois was looking for an offensive coordinator, that Eastern Michigan was looking for an offensive coordinator, Fresno State was looking for an offensive coordinator. I wasn't even aware of those until I got the call, you know. And so be where your feet are at, use every day, be patient, and just, you know, pour into the people that are around you. And when you get to choose where you want to go, make sure those people are people that you want to align yourself with. And I've been really blessed to be able to do that. And it's made my job enjoyable. It's been enjoyable for my family at all the places I've been. It gets emotional when you have to leave there because of that, but that's what life's all about.
Do you feel like that time, you mentioned how your journey's been different. That's one of the great cool parts of your story, is that you didn't start off as, like, you know, the GA at Ohio State, right? You worked your way up, went through those, you know, decade plus at low-level college football, NAIA, as you mentioned. Do you feel like that time, or how do you feel like that time has kind of prepared you for now in the big leagues?
Yeah, it helps me appreciate all the positions that we have on our staff and everything that they pour into our team. It helps me appreciate how important our equipment staff is, because at one point I was building lockers. You know, my first year as an offensive coordinator, we were literally building lockers for our guys, you know, in the summer, out in the middle of the practice field. And, you know, it makes me appreciate everything that everyone does in the organization, and it helps me, you know that how critical they are and how you bring it all together.
Yeah, awesome. Well, Coach, I appreciate all your time. This is great, and I appreciate, you know, your support of us and allowing me to come out for our third interview now. So
yeah, it's great having you here. It's great having you here. Appreciate you as well. Roll Tide.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.